All right, everybody, welcome to the ashram sessions of Tea and Take. I'm Dr. Satyavani Gayatri, and
I'm Dr. Pragya Marich, and our special guest today is a very dear friend of mine, Jeffrey, who remains just Jeffrey for the purposes of it. But Jeffrey's very special. He and I took posture of consciousness teacher training last year, had a lot of remarkable connections, and it's always inspiring. I mean, inspiring is kind of a cheesy word. It just fucking rocks when a veteran, a badass, takes to yoga and meditation and is not afraid to declare its benefits. And as you can tell, Jeffrey's also a very intuitive body worker type.
His hands are absolutely magical. So I have to say, I came here a week ago and had a stiff neck the second day, trying to move some prana through. And Jeffrey appeared at our dorm room and said, let me work on that neck for a minute. I have zero pain now.
So Satyavani, I'll let you ask him the questions because I'm just going to kind of kick back and enjoy this body work.
Okay. So Jeffrey, we are so happy that you're here joining us.
I'm thankful to be here.
Thank you. And we would like to ask you a little bit about what brought you to yoga as a veteran, and how many years in the service?
27 and a half years.
And what branch?
13 and a half years in the Marine Corps, then 13 and a half years in the Army.
Wow. Okay. So lots of experience. And what drew you to the yogic path? And did it happen while you were in the service, or did it happen after?
Basically, it happened while I was in, but it wasn't the fact until I started learning more about yoga that I had been teaching myself meditation and yogic things on its own, as well as I learned from other mentors about yoga type things, like we are here learning yoga nidra, and we're learning intentions and things like that. When we're in the military and we have the chance to take what we call a combat and or power nap, a very small, anywhere between 3 to 15 minute nap, a lot of times we teach ourselves to just get as comfortable as possible in that point in time and turn off your head. And at the same time, if you can't turn off your head, you repeat over and over and over in your mind, I will fall asleep, I will sleep well, I will sleep deep, I will wake refreshed and wide awake. And you say that again and again and again and again and again. Even if you never do fall asleep, it's still a form of self-hypnosis. And when you do wake up, you feel better. You feel as if you've rested, even though it might have been 5-10 minutes. But the thing about it is that after you were done with it, you feel more refreshed. You're not attitudinal.
Attitudinal.
Is that a great word?
I like that word. There we go.
The reason why I said attitudinal is because colorful adjectives are something that I've learned to use in the military. And many times in the military, we have many F-bombs and so on and so forth, but there are...
Which is a weapon in and of itself.
There are people that dislike it whenever we use colorful adjectives. So I would always have fun and say, and I would say, I'm going to teach a class today. I must warn you, there will be loud noises. Some language may offend you. I may use colorful adjectives to make a statement with that to be as a part of a sentence. So, as long as we know that you may be offended, there will be loud noises and you will hear swearing. Do we all understand this? Yes, first sergeant. All right, let's fucking get this show on the road.
I'm down with it.
And then after I would say that, of course, it's the humor to start anything.
Right.
Your question?
So it was your mother who first brought you directly into yoga?
Yes, my mother started coming here back in 2010.
Okay.
And she felt herself lost. And she felt the fact that she didn't deserve to be around. She felt unfit as a mother and a wife and all the other things that people feel. But she came here back in 2010 when Chandrakant and Kamini taught level 1, level 2, yoga nidra, yoga therapy, and all that other happy good stuff.
Wow.
And my mother took her teachings of level 1 and 2 in Yoga Nidra up to Big Sky, Montana, where she had her own yoga studio.
Wow, really?
While she was up in Big Sky, Montana, she had invited Gurudev and Kamini up to Big Sky, Montana.
Wow.
So Gurudev and Kamini came to Big Sky, Montana to see my mother's studio. And since in fact it was his teachings that he was there, my father became his chauffeur, and as my mother says, they were like just the Bobbsey twins, inseparable. They'd play off of each other and everything like that. And as it would go on, my mom would walk into my dad's office, and there would be Gurudev sitting on the floor in a beanbag chair, eating peanuts or something like that.
I can see it.
Dictating to my father things like that, and then my dad would be, "Now, how did you want to spell that?" And then Gurudev would say, "The way it sounds."
That's so funny. So you have a long history with Gurudev and the Desai family.
Yes.
And so was that your first experience with Gurudev and Kamini, or did you meet them and get into the Amrit method before that?
It wasn't until first weekend in November of 2016, in Canyon City, Colorado.
Wow.
My mother took me to Canyon City to go to a weekend retreat with Kamini.
Wow.
And of course, I'd been listening to Kamini CDs and things that would pop up on Facebook or things that were on YouTube and stuff like that. And while I was there, I was still learning the level 1, because Mom had taken me and Dad camping, and we'd be out camping and we'd go through level 1, some level 2, and Mom had taken me through several nidras.
Wow.
And the very first time Kamini took us through a nidra, her nidra was, "You have the key to the box." During that nidra, I just disappeared. I zoned out. I think I started snoring. I don't remember, but I fell asleep. But when I woke up, there was this pain in my chest that wasn't there anymore. It was an open feeling, like a cauldron of happiness.
Wow.
Was in the center of my chest.
That's amazing, Jeffrey.
And I still have that feeling in the center of my chest, because every time I come here, I feel an openness in my chest, for the simple fact that I have received and been granted the opportunity to be around a master who unintentionally gives love, acceptance, and everything else because of who he is and what he does.
Wow.
So Jeffrey, one of the reasons you and I bonded obviously is, sadly, trauma.
Yes.
And a great story I tell is how last year during our teacher training, I was having a very, very massive release about something connected to a recent trauma. And it was my brother here who really recognized it and validated it. And for that, I'm forever grateful. So what has your experience been with how yoga nidra, these practices have helped you with your PTSD?
Thankfully, I have removed myself from the mind medications.
Wow.
Because the medications, about the best way for my analogy is that there's always a wet blanket on the fire. With the wet blanket being off of the fire, or as we have learned, the yogic burn has to burn. And if it can't burn, I can't burn away pain. I can't burn away experiences. I can't burn away the bad.
Wow. Yeah.
And so by taking myself off of the medication and happily being here for 90 days for Seva, I have been able to unload lots and lots and lots of baggage, as it were. But the biggest thing is the fact that I was able to accept the fact that I am broken, I am not perfect, I have a very bad and messed up past, but that's fine because I am here now to make myself better for my unforeseen future.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, what would you say out of all of the practices, whether it is the asana, whether it is the nidra, whether it is the meditation or the pranayama, out of all of the practices, which would you say created for you a very visible shift that you first noticed?
That would have definitely had to been one yoga nidra with comedy.
Okay.
Because that one shift opened up so many other things, because I didn't need my medication to make me feel that. Something else helped me feel it, because comedy helped me find a different path instead of having the medication.
Mm-hmm.
Now, since I no longer am on my medication, purposefully, I still have to tell those I'm with that I am on my medication, because as far as they're concerned, I can't fix myself, because only the medication can do that for me.
Right.
So to me, that's...
Right. So you would say with a full heart that that is not true at all.
I would say that that is very not true, because unfortunately, dealing with those within the VA system, government system, and now that there are studies and things like that out there for those involved in PTSD and yoga and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as they're concerned, there hasn't been a 20-year government study, so therefore it's not validated.
Right.
Even though
Yet.
Right.
Even though everybody and their brother who has all these initials behind their last name doesn't mean squat.
We're not all
to them.
bad, by the way, but I get your point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. The general consensus is that unless there is this long research study with Western scientific evidence that therefore it doesn't exist and the problem cannot be solved.
And the reality is the research is out there, it's mounting.
Yes.
And I mean, I
Yes.
think as long as funding is in place, which my understanding with a lot of the holistic methods I advocate for, it's often a lot of political blocks that even gets in the way.
That's all it is.
So don't even get me started on that soapbox.
Well, and the
because
other-
I'm enjoying my massage too much.
Exactly, and you don't want to disrupt that, so just let that be,
Yeah.
Pragya. But the other part of it also is that I always say to folks, as it relates to, quote, science, etc., these traditions, the yogic, meditative
Preach.
traditions,
There we go.
they were the first scientists.
Obvi.
Hello, okay? They were the first scientists, and because they didn't wear a white lab coat and work out of a university laboratory, means that they're not legitimate, which is completely and utterly untrue. These traditions came from 5,000-year-old scientists and are consistently working, and here we are running around in circles trying to come up with, quote, modern evidence that comes out of X medical school or X independent research facility, and they're coming up with the same solutions. So we're reinventing the wheel, and Jeffrey is the perfect example of that.
So Jeffrey, tell us about this great intuitive work you've been doing on us.
Yes.
Well,
And
It's magical.
And this gift that you have.
I found this, believe it or not, after I had a very bad motorcycle accident back in May 24th of 1986. I was with my bike club riding to Lake Isabel in Kern County in California.
Okay.
I don't remember any of these things. These are things that I was told, because I don't remember the day prior to the accident, nor do I remember 2 weeks after the accident.
Wow.
Because of that, I was told that during the ride, I rode my motorcycle with everybody else. I did not wear my helmet per the military rules, but I also found out after the fact that if I would have worn my helmet, my head would have been twisted off at the neck.
Wow.
Because the helmet itself was an extra 15 pounds.
Wow.
So with the helmet being the extra 15 pounds, going by the rules and regulations of the military, wearing the helmet to protect my head by the way that my body and my head bounce from left to right and right to left and left to right, the helmet would have actually, with the extra amount of weight and vibrations, basically think about taking a basketball, putting it inside a watermelon, inside of a water balloon, and then throwing it on the floor and see what happens.
Oof. Okay.
With the accident, my glasses I was wearing, I had to have 85 stitches, 114 staples, and all these other things where I have almost no hair. You can see the majority of the scars on my head. And with that, I had limited movement in my left side. I had short-term memory loss. I had a lot of problems. But the main thing is that after the accident, I was more intuitive to things around me. I could see things in people. I could see issues. I also had a bit of, I'd have dreams where I would know the future, and they say whenever you see deja vu and stuff like that, there are those that say scream bullshit. It's like, okay, fine, I'm lying, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, so why do I know? Fill in the blank, and then they look at you like,
Yeah.
Now, in that, also with being in the military, having my own problems with chiropractic, back problems, physical therapies and things like that, plus doing all of my books and readings I've done for physical conditioning, hand-to-hand combat, specific points and nerves on where to harm people and so on and so forth. But at the same time, if you're going to learn to harm somebody, you also have to learn how to heal someone at the same time.
Yep.
So with this same problem, what I'm feeling right now, as an example, doing your back, you have a problem with this knot nerve here and a problem with this knot nerve here, which comes from, this one comes from your right knee and this one comes from your left instep.
He's right on.
Identically correct?
Yes, exactly. Because
Yes.
my right knee's been bothering me for about 2 weeks.
What that seems to me, Jeffrey, is that your third eye intuition, from a yogic standpoint, of course, really opened up as a result. I mean, the heart opened up, the intuition opened up, and the two of them became very connected. And as a result, you now have this beautiful gift.
Yes, and I love this for the simple fact that I enjoy sharing and making others feel good, not only about themselves, but also at the same time by doing this and talking in a way. And not only am I your massage therapist, I'm also in a bit of a way your hairdresser, your bartender, your psychologist, your psychiatrist.
Coach, life coach.
He really is.
Because from here, you know that I am a safe. Whatever you tell me is told to me and me only. If anybody else is in the room hearing it, it's just us.
Or in the case of this, potentially thousands of people on YouTube.
And
That's
we're
our
okay with
choice.
that. We've invited you in.
We've invited you in.
So Jamie, how is it feeling?
I mean, there are no words, because even last year when Jeffrey first gave me one of his legendary hugs that adjusts the back,
I had 2 of those.
I just felt the intuitive buzz coming off of him, and just, I mean, like I said, I'll never forget how well he has been able to read me, and yeah, it's
a gift. So out of challenges, the yoga can create these incredible new openings and new beginnings.
And in the field, we call that post-traumatic growth, and it's a technical term, but it's something that I definitely see when I meet people like Jeffrey. And so, Jeffrey, what would you say to a veteran who has yoga recommended to them, and they're like, ew, like we've talked about this over lunch, like, oh, it's a cult, or it's this, or it's that. Yeah, what would you say?
Great question.
Just because somebody told you it was a cult or it was this, it is their opinion. If you are going to be blinded by the simple fact that one person or several people have said this, fine. It goes back to a simple fact. Once I got done doing my yoga teacher training, my brother, who is a doctor, physical therapist doctor working up in Fort Collins, Colorado, has asked me, explain it to me what it feels like. I said, oh, that's simple. You've had chocolate cake before, right? Yeah. Okay, you tell somebody what chocolate cake tastes, feels, and senses like who's never eaten it before. He said, wow. I said, exactly. you can't describe it. You have to live it. You have to
so
be
true.
it.
So true.
So one of the resistances I get a lot from people who I train in my professional work is, because I teach yoga, meditation, pranayama, like in every professional context I'm in, I find a way to slip it in. And the question I'll get is, well, men won't do this, will they? And I'm like,
yeah.
some of the manliest, I mean, if we're using that,
Right.
stereotype, but which I don't really like either, but I've seen people of all genders do yoga, enjoy yoga, and benefit from yoga.
All ages, all races, all cultures, all religions.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess the question is, like, in Jeffrey, in your experience, what would you say personally to get a guy to do it? Or somebody who's at any branch of the service currently, even not even a veteran, who may be serving and they
And
may
could
have,
use it.
Yeah. What would you tell them? Is there anything we can say to convince or?
Your ignorance is your bliss. If you wish to believe something that you don't want to find out on your own, I pity you.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the drive to be a better person, to make yourself a better person, do so. If the other people don't like what you're doing, fine, that's what they believe. But at the same time, are they writing your paycheck? Are they driving your car? Are they paying your bills? Are they taking care of your family? No, you are. So if you are doing these things, you are empowered by yourself to do the things that you want to do within the law that allow you to be that better person that you choose to be. Upon your path that you choose, many things may shift and change along the way. The one main thing that I will let you know is that as you are making your shifts and changes, you will be afraid.
Yes.
That is normal. But don't be so afraid that you stop. Because when you stop, you have given in to what everybody else has already said. You will fail. You will fail if you stop, but only if you listen to those words and not yourself.
Wow. Personally, I think that just sums all of it up.
Absolutely. Jeffrey, thank you.
Thank you.
Is it too much to ask you to move on to my foot now?
I can move on to your point.
This is where the ashram sessions go a little sideways, so we're going to conclude for this evening.
That's tea and take after dark.
That is tea and take after dark, because there's always after dark.
We'll see you in our next episode.
Thanks, friends.